Hi, I'm Travis Markwood with the Lancaster-Fairfield County Chamber of Commerce, and you're watching Business Forward, partnership and production with Interphase Video. Today, we're at a longtime Chamber of Commerce member, longtime community partner. We're here with Steve Rao, president of Refreshing 90.9 WFCO. How you doing today, Steve?
I'm well, thank you. Thanks for the opportunity to be on the program.
Absolutely. Well, you know, there's a lot of people that frequent these studios here and this radio station on a weekly basis, including me, that does a radio show here as well. Let's talk a little bit about how 90.9 came to be and give us a little history.
Yeah, my father, the late Bob Rao, was a administrator of a school here in town, and he went to a conference. At that conference, they said, you can have a local radio station, and he came back, sold that idea to the church, Pleasant Chapel Church of God, that he also founded, and they bought into it, and there's a lot of information that has to be collected with the Federal Communications Commission and so forth. His brother was retiring from the Federal Aviation Administration as a weather briefer there at Columbus International Airport, and he said, hey, you need somebody to help run that station? And so my uncle Jim Rao was the first station manager for the first 9 years. So they got it off the ground in the summer of 1988, and so we are very close to our 28th year of being on the air. We started in a little studio in downtown Lancaster, at 1332 East Main Street is where it was. And we were a 200-watt radio station.
Help me scale that a little bit.
Okay.
200 watt.
Yeah, we joked, proudly broadcasting across the street. The big stations are 50,000 watts or 100,000 watts. Okay. We were 200 watts, and we have since grown to 1,200 watts, so we're 6 times stronger than we were when we began, covering all of Fairfield County and touching some surrounding counties as well. But that's how it began at 1332 East Main Street in the summer of 1988.
Fantastic. I didn't realize you'd been around that long, but that's fantastic. Now, I'm sure the station has changed a little bit over the years, but what's been the main focus, the original vision for this, and what's that look like today?
Yeah, great question. My father's original vision was to have a local station, and in 1988, there was no such thing as the internet. There was no such thing, actually, as CD players. Right. We had turntables, and we had cart machines, and we had cassette players, even reel-to-reels. It was old-time radio right there. And so in that process, we ended up getting a network, and it was providing most of our program. We used to satellite dish and receiver and those kinds of things. Okay. But and that worked for us. But my dad was always wrestling with this idea that we're not really doing what we had hoped to do, and that is to have a locally operated station. We've always been locally owned since 1988, but not always locally controlled. Gotcha. So in 2002, my cousin, J.T. Burcham, and my friend Dwayne Hurst came to me and said, hey, I think we can get the radio station to the place you want it to be. Okay. And my dad was the president of the station at that time, and he said, let's go ahead and do it. And so on August the 19th of 2002, we moved to this location, downtown Lancaster, and changed our format to be locally controlled. Okay. And so we've always had local information and national programs and that kind of thing. But now, as of August the 19th of 2002, we are completely locally controlled, locally owned, locally operated, and that's really the original vision that we were able to get back to.
Excellent, excellent. Now, this is a faith-based radio station. You want to talk a little bit about that?
Yeah, absolutely. I appreciate you asking the question. We are a ministry of the church that I pastor, Pleasant Chapel Church of God, and so we don't try to hide that fact, but it's not an important fact to us from the standpoint that I like to paraphrase Abe Lincoln and say 90.9 is of the community, by the community, and for the community. Gotcha. That's what we're about. We want to be your local radio station. And we like to say we're Christ-centered and community-focused. Okay. We say it in that order on purpose. We're a Christ-centered station. We're owned by Pleasant Chapel Church of God. And we have all of our music is contemporary Christian music. Our programs, we have Bible teaching programs. Many churches in Fairfield County have devotional programs that we air here at 90.9 FM, and we're glad to do that. But we want to connect with the community. Sure. We want to be the station that's connecting the listener to the community. Mm-hmm. And so it's kind of a two-pronged approach that we take.
Absolutely. Well, I know there's just so many local organizations and nonprofits you guys work with and provide slots for them to interview people here and talk about their programs. I know we're going to get into that a little bit later, but certainly, I mean, if you walk in, look at the board, all the community events that you have here, everyone's
Correct.
brochures,
Yep.
and if you go look at the scheduling board too, you'll see that nearly every organization in the community gets an opportunity to be in here and do some radio work.
It's absolutely what we want to do, why we exist. I believe that good community radio must connect with the organizations in the community. Great people doing great things right here in our community, and we need to use the airwaves that we have to be able to communicate from those people to the community so that they know what is available. We've got a great place to live, work, worship, play, and raise a family right here in Lancaster and Fairfield County, and we want to be telling people about that. And so it is truly our privilege to be able to partner with all of these organizations to help get their message out.
Excellent. Well, I know we want to go take a little bit, take a walk around the studio here. We want to look at the, we've got recording studios and a live studio, and let's go take a look at those, and you can show us a little bit of the technology that you guys have these days.
Outstanding. I'd love to do that because radio these days is a lot better than it was when we started in 1988.
Absolutely. Let's take a look. Welcome back to Business Forward. Again, this is Travis Markwood with the Lancaster Fairfield County Chamber of Commerce, and we're here at the refreshing 90.9 studios in downtown Lancaster. And again, with Steve Rao here, and joining us also in the studio here is Tina Gang. Welcome to the show, Tina.
Thank you.
Yeah, we're going to get back with Tina in just a second. But I tell you what we really wanted to do, Steve, as we talked in the earlier segment, technology has changed here in the radio station quite a bit. And we even talked in between segments about how just demanding it was, 20, 30 years ago compared to what it is now. We're in the studio where basically, the programs are happening. Tell us a little bit about technology.
It started out with we had this satellite dish and a very old board, and we had turntables and cassette players and that kind of thing. And there was no computer. Actually, the internet had not been invented yet in 1988, and so there was a lot of challenges when it came to broadcasting. You needed a lot of people to do it as well, because anything that was going to happen, you had to have somebody in the studio doing some things. So it was, I believe, about 1995. We got our very first computer. We actually bought it from Mark Bohack and WLOH, and we were able to move into the computer age, and that was a wonderful blessing. It allowed us to be a lot more efficient and so forth. And so we continued to grow in that process. When we moved to downtown Lancaster, we were only in 2 studios, or 1 studio, 2 rooms. We now have 4 rooms and 3 studios, and so that's been part of the growth and development of the station. But we use many different computer softwares that allow this process to work very well. We can edit things, and we were able to put together a lot smoother process and a lot higher quality process because of that. The technology has been a great friend to the world of radio, and we've certainly embraced that.
Absolutely. I just know from my experience recording some shows here, there's been time, believe it or not, I've screwed up a date or 2 or something like that. And it's great because Josh, one of the other employees here, he's like, no problem, I'll fix it. I'll go in there and pull it right out, and it's the editing is a lot easier, right?
Yeah, we call it making the magic happen, and Josh Messerly, our news and production director here at 90.9, is outstanding at that.
Absolutely. We're going to actually get to meet Josh here a little bit later in the Young Professionals segment, so stay tuned for that. Let's talk to Tina a little bit. And again, Tina Gang, you host a morning show here. Tell us a little bit about the morning show, what you do with the morning show, the goals of the show, and maybe who some of those guests might be.
Sure. So we actually do 2 morning shows here. From 7 to 8, we do the Morning Gang, which is a drive time show, just like you would hear on many popular radio stations. We have co-hosts that come in, and we just have fun. We laugh, we give local information, events, and news, and play music, of course. And then during the 8 o'clock hour, we have what we call Community Accent. Our moniker here is connecting you with your community, and through both of those hours, we really try to connect you with everything that's going on in the community, whether it be an event, a new organization, nonprofit, organization or a business, we talk to all of those people.
Absolutely. And I've been fortunate enough to join you on this show as well.
Yes, you have. On a quarterly basis, we do have several of the nonprofit organizations that are an integral part of our community, and we talk to those people regularly.
Yeah, it's a fantastic opportunity, really, to participate in those interviews and let people know, frankly, what the Chamber of Commerce is up to and some of our upcoming events. So what a wonderful tool we have here with the radio station in Lancaster to get the word out about these great organizations. So thank you, both of you, for that. Yeah,
It's what we're all about.
absolutely. So just kind of focusing a little bit here on the studio, tell us a little bit about what you have in front of you, Tina, that you use to produce the show.
Absolutely. So we have the studio computer, which is the log of the show. This computer runs everything you're hearing on the radio. It's pre-set up. Our operations manager, John Hoblitzel, does all of that behind the scenes. Without John, we wouldn't be on the air. And so we set that up prior to going, but we can also make changes to it on the fly during the day. Josh is the one that takes care of something that happens if that is the case. We have a soundboard where we connect with all of the microphones in the studio, and we can control the sound that way. And then this is my lifesaver, because this is connected to the internet and all the outside world, the information that we feed to the community. I'm able to do that on a separate computer, and they kind of just go back and forth.
So as you're talking about
Yes.
an upcoming event or something, you can look up the date
Yes.
and be able to get some real-time information.
Exactly.
Fantastic. Well, I know we want to stroll around the office here and meet just a few more of the employees before we sign off. But again, thanks for being on the show, Tina. And why don't we take a look, see if we can find some of the other employees that might be hiding from us right now.
They probably are. Let's go find them.
All right. Welcome to the Young Professional segment of Business Forward, sponsored by Cryle Communications. And we're here today with special guest Josh Messerly, and he is the news production director here at 90.9. You've probably met him throughout the segment if you've been watching the show, but we wanted to get to know Josh just a little bit better. Josh, thanks for taking the time to talk with us.
Well, thank you, Travis. A little bit of a role reversal.
Yes, exactly. Typically, I'm here in the radio station getting interviewed or interviewing somebody else, but we've got the radio guy on camera today. Josh, tell me a little bit about your background. You're a local guy. You went to school around here. Tell me how what's your education and how you ended up here.
I'm a local guy. Grew up here in Lancaster. Went to Lancaster High School. Went to Miami University after 1 year at Wilmington College. Originally started out as an education major. Thought I'd want to teach and coach. Didn't work out. I decided to go into communications, into journalism, and from there got the job here. I kind of say the job found me more than I found the job. Steve Rao called me one day and said, "Hey, we got this opening," and I took it, and I've really enjoyed it. I've been here since 2012.
Awesome. And you did dabble in education a little bit because you did some substitute teaching, right?
Yeah, right after college, I was graduating 2010, trying to find some work. It was a tough time with the economy.
Yep.
Couldn't find any work, so the best thing I could find was substitute teaching. Actually, sub for your wife a little bit.
Yeah, you did. Yeah, absolutely.
So really enjoyed that, and just really wanted to pursue the radio part. I think that to me that's the passion. I think something that I'm gifted at a little bit.
So the kids didn't scare you out of the profession?
Not so much. Although I'll tell you what, I subbed a half day in kindergarten once up in Pickerington. I was more worn out helping those kids than a whole day of teaching anything else.
Yeah, you got to give credit to those teachers. They put up with a lot during the day. But Josh, tell me a little bit about so you're here at 90.9. You've been here for a few years. Tell me a little bit about what you do on a daily basis.
Well, I mean, just as the title says, news and production, I do a lot around here by doing local news. I have updates that start at 7 in the morning, go all the way to 11 at night each hour. Also keep track of all the programs. We have about 30 local programs. Most of those I have to touch, either make sure it's ready to go or do heavy editing and all of that and produce those and help people like yourself when they come in to record.
Fix all my screw-ups. Yeah.
Well, no, you're not too bad. But yeah, all of that. We public service announcements, do spots for sponsors, things like that. So yeah, I can keep pretty busy.
A little play-by-play commentator too.
Do some of that as well. I'd enjoy doing that quite a bit.
Excellent. Now, Josh, you're here at the station a lot, and you're working hard. Tell us a little bit about family life and maybe what you do after hours.
Yeah. Not married, no kids at this point. Lord willing, they'll be in the future. But I've got a brother who lives in Pickerington. I've got my parents that live here in town. Mm-hmm. And, as you said, I stay pretty busy here at the station, but I'd like to play golf when I can. I play, not well, but I play.
Understand.
And like to ride my bike, play some softball. So, and I do more softball here in the summer, but yeah, during the rest of the year, I'm not as active as I'd like to be. We were talking about that before we went on camera, too.
Yep. Absolutely. So like to stay active in the sports and things like that.
That's always been a passion for me is sports. So it's just a way to keep active. And I think that's part of the reason why I got into radio and broadcasting as well, is just that love of sport.
Absolutely. Well, Josh, it's been a pleasure getting to know you a little bit better here on the Young Professionals segment, again, sponsored by Crowd Communications. Josh, we'll look forward to seeing you here in the studio soon.
All right. Thank you very much, Travis.
All right, and this is the latest segment of the Young Professional Spotlight, sponsored by Crowd Communications. Stay tuned for the rest of the segments on the show.
As a company of young professionals, Crowd Communications is proud to sponsor this segment. We specialize in helping businesses and organizations get the right message to the right audience, at the right time, and in the right way. To learn more about Crowd Communications and how they can help you with your communication needs, visit them at cryocommunications.com.
The Frank E. Smith Funeral Home and Crematory in Lancaster and the Johnson Smith Funeral Home in Baltimore have a long and wonderful history of serving our community. Feel free to give us a call at 740-653-0652. Stop in and see us at either of our two locations, 405 North Columbus Street in Lancaster or 207 South Main Street in Baltimore. Respect for tradition, regard for change.
Business Forward Ribbon Cuttings is brought to you by the Frank E. Smith Funeral Home. Respect for tradition, regard for change. Locations in Lancaster and Baltimore. Visit them at their website at funeralhome.com.
Welcome back to Business Forward. Again, this is Travis Markle with the Lancaster-Fairfield County Chamber of Commerce, and we're here with Steve Rao with 90.9, Refreshing 90.9 in downtown Lancaster. And we were able to get the whole crew here before they all ran out the door, didn't we, Steve?
We did. We were successful in doing that. When we went on the air in 1988, we had one employee and quite a few volunteers, 15 or 20 volunteers. We've been able to grow the ministry to 2 full-time employees and 4 part-time employees. The one employee we are missing is the one that Tina Gang referenced, and that is our operations manager, John Hoblitzel. Yeah, we are blessed with the best radio team in all of Central Ohio right here.
Absolutely. I tell you what, when you do walk in the studios here, it's always a friendly introduction, and got a great crew here. Let's meet some of them, if you wouldn't mind introducing who your crew is and kind of what each one does.
Yeah, because we're chivalrous, we'll start with the ladies. How's that? Amy Ferturo is our office manager. She's been with us for several years, and she does exactly that. She manages the office. Without her, this place is chaotic. And so we really appreciate the contributions that she's made to the ministry here. She is our guiding light. We just have to do a better job of following that.
Understand.
Yeah. But beside her is Tina Gang, who we met just a little bit ago as our morning show host of the Morning Gang and Community Accent. Also, when we make decisions here, we make them together as a team. And so Tina gives us great ideas. She also helps us on the social media side, one of the areas we're attempting to grow here at 90.9 FM. She does a super job of helping us with that.
Mm-hmm. Excellent. All right. And the gentleman you have to your right here.
Well, I wouldn't call them gentlemen, but they're...
I know, I was using it loosely.
Yeah, okay, good. A couple of guys here. The guy to my right is the old guy in the office, actually our oldest employee. His name is Mark Lynn. He's our sponsorship representative and sports director here at 90.9. He's also the associate pastor at Pleasant Chapel Church of God, so he puts up with me a lot.
Absolutely. All right, and Josh, we're going to get to meet him a little later in our Young Professional segment, but let's introduce Josh.
Yeah, Josh Messerly is our news and production director, and he does a tremendous job in editing programs that you mentioned earlier, covering the news, traffic in the morning. He is the engine that runs the radio station, and we would be lost without Josh Messerly and his connection. One of the other things I wanted to point out is the team of people here represent different churches. As a matter of fact, Mark and I are the only ones that go to the same church. Amy goes to the Well, Tina goes to the River, and Josh goes to Calvary Baptist Church. And so we like that because it's a broad and diverse group of people. Many of us went to different schools, graduated from different high schools, that kind of thing, and that gives us broad diversity. We really do have the best radio team in all of Central Ohio.
Absolutely. Let's talk about one thing that we didn't mention a lot of earlier in the show, but I know everybody pitches in. You guys are out on site a lot on remote shows and sporting events. You guys cover quite a few sporting events throughout the year.
Yeah, Mark Lynn, our sports director, does a super job in covering those. We cover all of the schools. There are 12 schools in Fairfield County. We cover them all in the major sports, football, volleyball in the fall, boys and girls basketball in the winter, baseball, softball in the spring. We cover over 100 sporting events a year. And then we pick a player of the game at the end of that broadcast. And then in May, we put a sports banquet together. This year, it's going to be Saturday, May the 21st at the Crossroads Event Center on Fair Avenue here in town. And we're going to give them their plaque. We're going to feed them a wonderful meal from Olive Garden. We've got 4 scholarships. We've never done this before, but 4 scholarships we're going to be giving away of $500 each to a student. And we have an inspirational award that we give as well. And it's kind of the culmination of our sports broadcast season. We love it that we get to be in every school in Fairfield County for every one of the major seasons. And it's a special privilege to connect the listener of Lancaster and Fairfield County with the community on the athletic side.
Absolutely. And I just encourage those that are watching, if you haven't picked up a game from your favorite local high school that these guys are doing, they do a really nice job. I've listened to a few myself. So, how does this organization fund itself? You're a nonprofit, correct?
That's correct.
Okay, and so nonprofits need support from the community, and I know you get pretty good support from this community.
We do. We are blessed beyond what we deserve by the community. But it couldn't happen if we didn't partner with the businesses and organizations in the community. We're funded 3 primary ways. One is individuals that support us. They understand the mission, the goal, and they support us that way. A second way is churches will support us, maybe out of their Sunday school class or their missions budget. And then the third way is business sponsorships. We are non-commercial and not-for-profit radio station. So there's certain challenges that presents, but we are allowed to have sponsorship, much like National Public Radio would do, and that's the 3 primary ways we are funded. It is a partnership. I might have used that word a couple of times already, but that's the way we see it, and that's the way we're able to be what we are created to be here at 90.9 FM.
Excellent. Now, if someone is watching the show and they want to learn a little bit more, what's the best way? Stop in here, get online, probably all of the above, right?
Absolutely. Our office hours are 8 a.m. to 3 p.m. We are at 201 South Broad Street, Studio 303 here in the Wilson Building in downtown Lancaster, across the street from the post office, catty corner from the police station. We are in downtown Lancaster. And also you can go to our website, refreshing909.com, and get all kinds of information about this ministry, and we would encourage you to do that. You mentioned ball games. You can actually download a copy of that game if you missed it, or you would like to get a connection with an athlete. You can do that through that process as well. So we would encourage you. Stop by Monday through Friday, 8 to 3 at 201 South Broad Street here, Studio 303, or go to our website, refreshing909.com.
Excellent. Well, I thank all of you for participating in the show. Thanks for having us in, Steve. We really appreciate it.
It's a privilege to be on your program and to connect 90.9 with the community and be a partner in supporting the wonderful things that are happening here. And it's our honor to be a longtime chamber member. You do a great job in leading the chamber, and we love partnering with you in that process.
Thank you very much. We appreciate the partnership as well, and enjoy being able to come in here and meet our Chamber of Commerce members each week with our show. So, all right, folks, that wraps us up here a little bit as we finish the show. Again, we've been at 90.9 WFCO in downtown Lancaster. You've been watching Business Forward, partnership and production with Interface Video. And again, this has been Travis Mark with the Lancaster Fairfield County Chamber of Commerce.